Today we'll be discussing how you can create color variable font with open source software. You need Fontra, which is a browser-based font editor. You can have the Mac OS or Windows version. For Linux, you can download the Fontra pack from Snap Store. Or if you are running Ubuntu, you can also download it from the Ubuntu Software Center. So install Fontra pack. After installing Fontra pack, if we can run Fontra pack, load Fontra pack, and create a new font. So we have created a new font. Created a new font. It's a design space file because we are creating a variable font. We'll create a design space file with name from the Fontra pack using the new button. And Fontra pack works in a browser, so you need to open any browser like Google Chrome, and the file will open in Google Chrome. There you can see you load the Google kernel, Latin kernel font. We'll name the font, basic detail like name of the font, and we put a version number, say 0.1. So major version will be 0 and minor version will be 1. We will keep the M1000 as shown in the default in the font editor. So we have created. Now we'll create the axis, various axis. We'll keep two custom axis. Custom axis name should be in capital letter. One custom axis is the shadow. We'll create a shadow layer for color font, which will be variable. We give it a tag, 4-letter capital letter tag, SHDW. The shadow layer, we change it from say -100 to +100, keeping default at +100. Another will keep, and this we have to fix the values in the axis. Next we create another axis called margin. We'll keep a margin of each color glyph of a different color. The margin can be thicker or thinner. We'll keep the margin axis. Margin is the code we created. Always remember, if you create custom axis, the code must be in the capital letter. Only the recognized axis of weight, width, slant, optical size can use small letters. So we create margin. Margins couldn't be. You have to now create the various masters. One is the regular or the default master. Another master will be for the shadow, reverse shadow, where the shadow will be in the opposite side. And another master will create with increased margin, thick margin. So we'll create another master with thick margin. So we create 3 sources from Fontra and 2 variable axes. Now we want create one base axis. We'll only create small a. You can repeat the procedure for all glyphs similarly. So for small a, we just use the Fontra's oval tool and create a oval, and then another oval inside, and change the direction of the inner oval so that it is as hollow. Next, it looks like an O, you have to make it A. So we create a handle of A using the additional point tool. So you more or less create a letter A. So base letter is created. It will be shown in the black and white version or base version without the color glyph in the font. Next, we have to create 3 color layers from the base glyph. So we have created one shadow. So we'll create one shadow layer. We'll A0, A1 and A2. A0 is the shadow layer. A1 is the base glyph layer, and A2 is the margin layer. So we create A0, A1 and A2, 3 layers are created. So in the middle layer we'll keep the base glyph as a reference. For shadow layer, we copy first the base glyph, paste it in the shadow, and then for as it is a shadow, and for the margin layer also keep the copy the glyph and modify the shadow accordingly. For shadow we'll make it smaller, so we'll scale it down and say scale it say 60% of this. Oh no, we should keep the baseline same, so we have to, during scaling we have to keep the baseline same, and so that we can show the process. And we skew it for shadow to fall on one side. So next step, we will keep the middle layer same. We will change only the margin layer. For margin layer, we just keep the outer border and then scale it for creating a margin of the glyph. Say we copy it, paste it, and then scale it. Scale it say 80% of the size. So a thick margin is created around. Keep the rotate the direction of the inner layer so it cuts out from the margin. So this is the margin of glyph. Next we have to add the variation, because it is a variable font. We have to create variable layers. So for the variable reverse shadow, we change the shadow to the other side, move the shadow to the other side by changing the skew value. For margin layer, so you can see the margin layer, we have to change the margin. We will make the margin slightly thicker by changing the scaling the inner layer. Inner layer is changed, so that margin is now thicker. So we change the margin and change the shadow. So next step is adding all these glyphs to all the masters. We have 3 master, you remember. One is the regular master, is the baseline default master. One is the reverse shadow master, and another is the margin master. So for all masters, for all these layers, we add the variation. For all these 3 masters, we have to add all the glyphs, so that when we generate the variable font, all the variation tables are generated for various layers. So we add reverse shadow for shadow layer already added, and the reverse shadow for other layers also. We add the margin various layers, so that all the 4 layers, all the 4 glyphs are represented in all the masters. Some will be same, some will be different, as we have decided according to the axis. So we have to add all the masters. We are adding them one by one. So Fontra helps you in deciding which master is already added, and you have to add things which are not already added. Now complete these steps. Next we are going to finish and generate the font. Now generating the font from Fontra, the TTF file can be generated and saved. We name the font, and the font is generated. you can see it is a variable font is generated and the variable axes are there, but there is no color glyph because you have not added the necessary color tables. So it is a variable font all the same, but not a color variable font. Next step, for adding color, we have to convert the TTF file to a text version or XML version by fontTools TTX. You have to install fontTools TTX from Python pip. So using fontTools TTX, we converted the font to a TTX or text version. Next, we have to edit the TTF file. It is a text file. We can edit in any text editor like say Gedit in case of Genome, or you can use Notepad or any other Vim or Emac or any other text editor you use. So we add first CPL table. CPL is version 0. We are using 3 layers. The shadow layer is around light gray. The base layer we are keeping it at cyan, and the top layer, margin layer, we are keeping it at red. Next, we have to add the color table. Color table also has version 0. So for version 0, we just add version 50 to add 3 layers. The layers of, and we mention which layer will be corresponding to which color. So they will be useful to know which colors are belonging to which layer. So next step is generating the color variable font from the TTX XML file. We use the same. We first delete the black and white variable font and keep the TTX file. So we open a terminal and run this TTX program on the TTX file. So the file is generated. You see the color tables are added. So our color font is generated. Next step is to test the font. If you see in a font viewer, you can see the color glyphs are there. The A is in color, and also the description tells that the font has color glyphs. And you can test it in a thing like Okamai Fondu website where you can test the color variable font. But we have only one letter, so we have to remove all that text and replace with our small a, make it larger to view, and then you can see that the shadow is moving with changing the shadow. The margin is increasing with increasing the margin axis. Again you see the shadow is moving. So you can see how it works. You can get the detail of the source of the various tools such as Fontra and fontTools and from the source, and we are also providing the